sunshine, that summer sunshine. I'm over here in the shade. You already. Oh shit! I was about to say, where'd my joint go? It's the morning motivation. We're getting into it. You going? The 10th. We got a week to go, and this whole place is about to be erupting with maybe 10,000 fans. This place looks like it can sit maybe 20,000 fans, and people just lining up, buying their tickets already. Entradas. Sombra, entradas y localidades. Interests and locals. So I think it's pretty interesting. You think it's pretty interesting. And these are the things that we all think are interesting. See, turns out your boy Marky Saint pulled a social faux pas yesterday. I end up blowing my nose repeatedly in someone else's disguise. Only three of us, well, four including him. And I was just got out of the ocean, and I had so much green coming from my nose. I was spitting it out, and then that was like the only towel near me. I thought it was a hotel towel. I was blowing my nose, and this dude was absolutely disgusted with me, and I was really embarrassed for blowing my nose in his towel. Even though I had my own towel, it was a bit further away from me, and obviously I had green shit all over my face. But now I'm blowing green shit in my buddy's towel, or my buddy's towel. He doesn't want to be my buddy because he was so disgusted by what I was doing. And I was like, for me in the South, if you need to use a towel, you need to use a towel. If you would cut your arm, every towel's up for grabs. If a mess was spilled, every towel's up for grabs. That's what towels are used for. Now, I was actually using the towel, but it wasn't my towel, so therefore I had embarrassed myself and my friends for bringing me around, and they're like, this fucking guy. This fucking guy should up your nose. So that's, I think, what's ended up happening, and make kind of like an infection happen, and my nose has been plugged up for the last 24 hours since I've been at the beach. So I pulled a social faux pas, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about certain things that as I traveled, cultural differences that we all abide by, like walking while staring at our phone, or looking at, or buying tickets for the Toro match, and thinking that maybe some people might think that by killing the bulls behind me, not that I made the decision, not that it was something in my culture, but that different cultures have different things. It was like a social faux pas to wear, to actually wear. Obviously it's a steam room, and obviously there's chlorine in the water. So what we do all the time in America is we chlorinate and steam room and sauna our steam and put chlorine in the air, and therefore you end up breathing chlorine and basically killing yourself. And I was like, oh shit, man, I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. So very interesting process. Very interesting to see the development of this building behind me, and the promotions and the people that are buying them, and rituals of cultures. I wish I was that smooth. I was talking to multiple people, and it turns out I'm not as smooth as I think that I am. I think a lot of us think that we're smoother than we are. I think a lot of us think that we're sexier than we are, or smarter than we are, and then we have to realize that we're as dumb as the next man. We're as valuable and as I don't want to say in danger, but in danger of pulling the same shit someone else is pulling. Look at this guy's pulling it VIP. You gotta love it. And that's something that I keyed in on, was that I was starting to think that my shit didn't stink. As long as I travel, or as long as I make money, or as long as I'm successful, nothing else matters. And it turns out it matters a lot. You know what I'm saying? It matters a whole hell of a lot, the way that you operate in the world, and being able to get yourself to motivate yourself and not look foolish to the crowd is a very difficult part of the process. Part of chaos is looking foolish to the crowd. Part of the secret ingredients is losing. Part of the thing to get to success is embarrassments. And I just wanted to key in on that because, not for nothing, for every like or people that unlike my page, Every light that I hustle, I finally got up to 350 on Mostly Saints, and now it's back down to 344. That's 6 different individuals, more like 10 because they keep unfriending or unliking in on Instagram from Turkey to Finland or whoever, of wannabe followers, or people that would say one thing and do another, and we are so apprehensive to help another fellow human being. I'm literally asking for just free support. You got thousands of likes out there. I'm just one other person, but we put our egos in on it, right? My ego was not wanting to have green stuff coming from my nose, and it ended up making me grab someone else's towel that didn't belong to me. Now, I'm all right with me being embarrassed. I'm all right with telling the truth and explaining that, things fall apart, more than the put together version of things. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, what did I do with the lighter? I know I grabbed it. And a lot of people, they have to put on the clothes, look a certain way before they even leave the door. These guys got country hats, they're matching country hats, or watching a beautiful woman put on a dress, or all the others are, and who we're with and what we're doing. So who I am, I'm a hotel guest, and what am I doing? I'm enjoying my vacation, and I'm flexing, and I never leave the hotel grounds. I end up just grounding myself to the hotel, and I never see the rest of the city. There's people that live that way. There's people that choose the other way, where they want the perfect life, where not a hair's out of place, and everything's always what it's supposed to be, and the story is the way that it's supposed to go, and there's no new surprises, and there's no chaos. And I think that most people forget that order and chaos seem to dance very well together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're all a hot mess covered in a soft bun, and that's what ends up happening. You know what I mean? We end up forgetting who we are. We end up forgetting that we are a human on a very exoplanet that surrounds fucking 200 million years, million miles away from the Nerbal, as we are intellectual. And that's something that makes it very hard to gauge, because a lot of people, we overthink and we overcomplicate and we become the chaos in our lives. But what's really happening is that you're going through a process. Learning about these super dojo computers this morning, they need training, they need labeling. That's what they need. They need humans to sit there and go, no, that's a trash can, no, that's a human being. And when we're trying to find artificial intelligence or self-driving cars, we also have to go through the process of making mistakes. There are going to be plenty of times the car keeps driving. I don't know how many times I've seen Tesla running into an ambulance or something of a parked car behind them. It's part of the process. Everybody wants the perfect process. They want concrete. Like, it took the Romans to build concrete for us to get it right. It took us to forget what concrete was like, and then to go back to their old recipe to get it right again. Like, we don't want to make the bridge collapse, but bridges collapse. We don't want the train to fall over, but they derail. And I mean, it's just something that happens to us left, right, straight. Dogs get ran over by cars. People fight, and some people hold hands. This is the dojo. We are in the middle of the supercomputer. We are literally making labels and mistakes and creations at constant speeds. Everyone's being entrepreneurial, everyone's becoming more creative, everyone has a thought or maybe even an invention in their head, but to bring it to fruition is going to be a pain. Now, I want to say a painful process. It's not pain-free. It's not mistake-free. And unfortunately, people want the process. I thought about it the other day. My buddies were like, yo, did Mark do a show? And he's looked at me all. My buddy's like, I was like, what? And he's like, what's the show you do every morning? And I'm like, the morning motivation. He's like, yes. He wants to know, have you started the show? And to think that I created something that people key in on, that people are actually looking forward to and expect. I'm shocked by this. You know what I mean? I just was just some dude smoking weed on his mom's balcony through Periscope, and now I'm a YouTuber that travels the world and only his ex-girlfriend watches. Welcome to my life. This is like a peek in behind a behind the scenes of a a master, of someone that doesn't mind saying his mistakes. Now, can my ex call back and judge and say, oh, we don't have the same values? Well, I'm sure if I peeked behind your screen, there was plenty of lies I hadn't seen. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know why you didn't have custody of your own children. I didn't know that you didn't just have a psychologist, but it was court appointed. I didn't know that you fucked up your own life, and then you wanted to try to blame it on me. And like the decisions you make, is the journey that you have to travel. The decisions I make is also the journey I have to travel. Both of us lost a child. She wanted to say you didn't just lose one child, you lost three. Actually, you lost a husband, a future family, and a father for both your children. We both lost a child. So it's like you want to count my side of the goal stick. You want to say how many kids I lost. You're the one that killed your own baby. There's nothing in life to make up for this. There's nothing to make up for life on this planet. Money doesn't make up life. You can watch people all the time. I watch the shows. Dudes offering 100 grand for someone's dog. No. Or a girlfriend trying to leave her husband and kids to get in a car with some dude that's got money in a Ferrari. No values. And that was so weird to me that she wanted to talk to me about my values when her values are to kill babies. My values are to show up and do whatever it takes to keep babies. We don't have the same values. We don't have the same mentality, and it's been proven that's why we're not together. I look at these social faux pas. Look at this. They're starting to sell tickets, man. This is about to be a real thing. I'm talking a week, y'all. There's the 10th. Today's the 2nd. In about a week, I'll be in this bitch fucking cheering and all gossiping, and I will go live too. It is definitely worth the 50 euros to me. $60. Look at the tickets. I want one. Give me one. Shoot. Is it a social faux pas? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we're killing animals that probably didn't need to be killed, but as I was informed, these bulls don't have any other purpose. Like, they don't mate. They're like the bulls that don't get all the girls. Isn't that weird in our society that we kill the ones that don't get no pussy? Ain't that about a bitch? And all the dudes that got all the money and all the looks and all the hype, they get to get all the girls, and all the girls that got all the looks and all the curves and all the beauty get to get all the boys. We live in this social faux pas, but in between the things are people. There's elderly people. There's baby people. There's a whole full range of real people out here in the world where they don't just exist on a magazine, but they got a little bit of cellulite, and they got a few scars, and they live their life. They're not perfect, and none of us are. We obsess about the perfection of people, but life isn't perfect. Like I told you, dude, I would have used that towel. Whose towel it is, bro? I'm using it. And that's just what I'm about. I'm a use person. Am I comfortable? Is it useful? Is it something that I need? I think other people are stuck on the I want phase, where it's like, I want more money, I want more attention, I want more followers, and they're stuck on that. And it's like, if that's all that you need, you miss the want. And that's something that's really, or if that's all that you want, you miss the need. And that's what I really want to get down to, is what's of necessity in society, and what's of necessity in our lives. And most of us are like, well, I need a bunch of money so I can keep moving ahead. And I'm like, I want to go backwards and live off the land and do homes small and tiny homes and grow my own vegetables. Call me a hippie if you want, and they do. But he's like, why? Because you got a beard and you care about the planet and you smoke weed? Then label me a hippie. But I'm also an entrepreneur. I also love the business life. I'm also an avid traveler, and I'm also a creator. So hippie away. Let's go. And that's what it's about. It's about us looking at ourselves and having some sort of standard external of ourselves and comparing ourselves to a standard when we know damn well most of these people were raised in simple apartments, one bedroom apartments with their mamas, but now they're pulling up in Bentleys and we think that's the new normal. It's like, nah, man, your mom's still at home in her apartment. Is your mom still renting an apartment? My mom is, and I'm not successful till I buy her a home. Facts. And that's just how I feel. I feel like I have to get out of my comfort zone to make myself more comfortable. And I have to be willing to make mistakes because it's part of the creative process. There's a lot of people that I bumped head with along this journey. I lost a friend in Turkey. Made some different ones. Made some mistakes, apparently to them. I still was on time. I still made the plane, but he still stopped for cigarettes and and beer. So I still spit. I have allergies. Every morning I wake up and it just comes out of me. I'm not a perfect human being. I have wrinkles. I have grays, whites, actually not grays, white hairs coming out of my beard, sometimes out of my sides. I earned these stripes. And I saw Roma Army post her body picture, and it was like her stretch marks were all on her tits. She had beautiful tits and had a beautiful stomach. She used to be a skinny little punk rock girl. Now she's a mom. Good to see you, bro. I'm feeling better. Yeah, I'm still got that allergy thing going. Good to see you, Benny Mac, my co-pro. Yeah, it's not perfect, bro. No one's perfect. Everybody likes to look at these perfect people, and they're not perfect. Lips. You literally injected your lips. You literally started put people. There's the whole bimbo crew out there where they're trying to look like Barbie, and Barbie doesn't exist. It's weird to me. We chase these fallacies, but it's in the errors that makes us human. It's in the mistakes that helps us learn. And just like a child, they're gonna grab everything and try everything. Just like an adult, we're gonna pick it apart and call it a mistake. Are you that type of person where you're gonna grab your kid's art and you're gonna be, well, you're not Picasso? No, you're gonna put it up on the fucking refrigerator and be proud of it. You're like, why you got your fingernails painted? Because the daughter wanted to paint my fingernails, bro. Have you ever had a daughter? I don't have a daughter, but if she wanted to have tea time and paint my fingernails, it's tea time and paint my fingernails time. It's time for me to let down all this uppityness, and there's a lot of uppityness in Mallorca, bro. I'm dead dog serious, Ooh, the girl that I hit on yesterday just like my message. Let's see if she messages me back. Okay, Maria, little yoga teacher from Mallorca. Had the balls. I was swimming out in the ocean, and she was there topless. And I had asked all the other girls, to follow. No, I already heard no. And she looked, and one of the girls, topless girls, is looking. She wasn't even that pretty, and she was just like no. And I'm like, okay. But when I saw her on her phone, I swam up. And then I climbed up the rocks and I ended up sitting next to her, and she ended up telling me about all these beautiful beach spots. And I actually, my goal was to just talk to her, and I hit my goal. And as long as I hit my goal, I feel fruition. I feel like something's been completed. I feel like I did the mission instead of avoid the mission and avoid being shy and avoid my mistakes. I'm just going to go in and try, bro. I made 4 mistakes before I hit the 5th mistake, but everybody wants to be perfect. Everybody wants to fucking hit touchdowns all the time, and you can see it. What we don't see in boxing and MMA and in football are the losers. We don't know who won second place in the 1998 Olympics. We only know 96 Olympics. We only know who won first place. Michael Johnson, by the way, fastest man on the planet with his gold shoes. But that's what I'm talking about. We only highlight the highlights. We don't see when Michael Johnson blew out his hamstrings. We don't see these other athletes when they blow out their knees. One of my my cousin actually, her baby daddy, he's one of those that my classic example. Tall, good looking, had a career in college and blew out his knee sophomore year. Nobody wants to talk about that. They only want to talk about the successes. That's what Saints Addiction was all about. I'm talking about the messy parts, the things that I had to overcome to get to this place. It wasn't like it's something that fell from the sky. No, it's something that I built on my mom's balcony, and now my buddies talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, he has a YouTube show. And before it was I had something, it was something I was doing something. And before it was a something, it was just something I was doing. And it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be under, oh, thank you for the cloud cover. It's always going to be under construction. We are under construction. We are a growing process, and that's something that we have to be willing to go through. The dojo's willing to go through it. It's willing to learn that a trash can ain't a human being. It's willing to understand itself and its process, and that's what we need to do. We understand that we're in a process, dude. We're baking, and we're not cookies yet. We're cookie dough, which is perfectly fine if you want it in an ice cream. But the truth of it is, none of us are complete. We're all valuable. We're all full of mistakes, and that's the beauty of it. It's the way that we create. It's not that the dojo gets to create. No, we get to teach it the information that it needs to learn. And that's all it's doing. It's just learning the streets and learning what's a human between a trash can and what's the process. And that's what we got to do. We got to learn I'm mistaking. I'm doing all those things. It's all part of my programming, and it's also part of your programming too. So whether you're a perfectionist with OCD and everything has to be in percent, as long as I'm in the fucking sunshine and in the breeze, this could be me. And while I was eating Fancy, Fancy, I call her Fancy because she was just like classy, and that's what they were. She was buying Guess, but she wanted Chanel. She was wearing Donna Karen, but didn't know who Donna Karen was. I had to teach her. I had to teach her what a vice was. She was 19. She didn't know anything, but she wanted to pretend that her life was put together. And I'm like, well, what do you do for work? I don't do anything. And I'm like, that's weird. You're in one of the most expensive places in the world, and you don't, and you're coming from one of the poorest places in the world, but you don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to create anything. My buddy says she spreads her legs. And I'm like, that's not creation. That's giving. You know what I mean? That's just spreading. That's just part of the program. You know what I mean? It's not like you created any value by spreading your legs. A lot of women spread their legs very often, and a lot of women have children, and some of them kill their babies. So it's one of those where it's like things that you are special at, things that are your specialty, can also be your destruction too. You can be really, really smart, Albert Einstein, but forget how to tie your shoes. You know what I mean? Like there were certain things about ourselves. I remember your boy, Sir Isaac Newton, as I look up waiting for the apple to hit my head. You know what he did? He said, all the knowledge of the stars are in my head, but I haven't figured out greed. He was one of those people that got in tulip mania back in the days when all these things were artificially, the prices were overinflated. He got out, made a bunch of money, but guess who went right back into the gambling? Just like we were talking about yesterday, that compulsion. Guess who went back and tried to make more money? Sir Isaac Newton. A man with the mind of a computer couldn't figure out his compulsions. And that's when I really started to tune in with Saints Addiction to see how I work, what made me work, and what made me tick the way that I ticked. And that's the question that I had to have. I'm like, what is developing me? What patterns have I developed as coping mechanisms? What have I done as a person to develop my own style to become the man that I am? Why do I have baggy shorts? Probably because I grew up in Southern California. Why do I like t-shirts? Probably because my dad made t-shirts for us when we were kids, and it was the last time we were all a family. Probably because I'm all alone, and I also need the healing. There's so much of the process that we forget, that we want to omit. We want to omit the parts that our moms were single moms and raised us on little to nothing, or we don't have relationships with our households, or maybe we grew up in a poor household. These things develop us, and that's something that we don't want to key in on. We want to just show up, fancy clothes, fancy car, fancy money, get to Canes Festival. You had to fly in just like me, and just like my old my spiritual mentor Terry Prince would say, nobody knows what kind of car you drove in the club. I don't know what you drove. You don't know what I drove. But that's how we are. We're jockeying for position. Where women are jealous of girls holding hands with another man at a cafeteria if they don't have one. Men are jealous of beautiful women on the other arms of another guy. We get easily jealous. We're just like monkeys. We're very mammal that way. We want to pretend that we're not, but we are so monkey. It's not even funny. And that's what we start to be. I saw a print. My buddy had some shorts. Had some shorts, and one of them was a beautiful, like, pinup 1960s pinup woman sitting by the pool, looking all cool. And then there was a monkey right next to her doing the same thing, wearing glasses and sitting in the pool. That's us, dude. We are the monkeys. We are the hippopotamuses. We are the whales of this island, this planet. And yet we try to pretend that we're not, but we're human. Women have babies. That means pouches, mom gut, mom bods. Mom bods are cool too. Shout out to Roma Army. I thought my exes had a beautiful hourglass shape. Yeah, she was thicker. We find it where maybe the beauty mark isn't a bad thing. My mole isn't a bad thing to someone. Maybe it's something that's attracted to someone, and that trumps everything. Our attractions, the things that we are gravitated towards, and it's like gravitating toward ice cream or chocolate or drugs or risky behavior. We gravitate towards these things and don't even know how we got there. We just showed up and go, why am I here? Why I'm at Plaza de Toro? Well, I'm at Plaza de Toro because there's a lot of energy here. It's me getting away from my buddy in the morning so I don't have to hear him bitch. I can go be free. I can go be me, and I can go get out in the sunshine. This is what this is. Other than that, I'm just a guy smoking weed around the world. I'm just a dude with a beard that just so happens to have facial hair, and I'm just so happen to be a traveler. These two things are my things. It just wasn't something that I was like, yeah, let's do it this way. No, I was like, I just want to sell shirts. Zodiac's on shirts, baby. Taurus Bull. Plaza de Toro. I'm representing the what is this called? What do you even call it when you kill bulls? It's not the running of the bulls. It's a matador. I'm at the Matador Arena. So life is full of ups and downs, my friends. Joints go out. Fumbles are made. Mistakes are everywhere. Where every winner, there's a loser. There's somebody that just in the Terrence Crawford fight, the dude got beat up. Sure, you could be the other dude where you're a winner and Nike's calling you and you got contracts. And then there's the other guy that got beat up, didn't make as much money, and loses his next purse and doesn't get to make as much money as before. We're all trying to aim for the top spot. We're all trying to be a superstar, but we're not. And that's the conversation that we have to have. We have to have these conversations because we get to see ourselves in a certain light, but we don't get to see that we're made of the light. We don't get to see that we're made of awesome, and that we're made of good, and that we're made out of this light that I'm shining in right now. It's the same light that you use for energy. It's the same light that the planet uses for energy. It's the same light that we're made out of. The same love, the same human energy that's created this behind me exist. And as long as we radiate in our light, and radiate in our creation, and radiate in our humanness, I think that we become more human. We see humans instead of celebrities. We see mistakes as prosperity. We see destruction as part of creation. And that's what I'm really talking about with Saints Addiction. It was just like, it took a lot of perspective and patience to get this lifestyle. And if I could get anything of an information to if I could give it some advice to people, is say it's a messy process. And it's a marathon. So get your running shoes on, get prepared to get some blisters, keep moving forward, and that's your morning motivation. If you got anything on rhythm, that's how we do it. And as always, spread that peace and love into the world. They bumped into Mike Tyson. He said a message for everybody. He said peace and happiness, man. Get some happy in your life, share that happy with, because it's such a cool energy that human beings have on this planet. Go be blessed, not stressed. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, subscribe. Peace. Ciao. Bella. Beijos. See you. España.